Hello and welcome to the Be Your Own podcast. I'm your host, Samana Duran, and founder of Be Your Own, the global media hub of all things entrepreneurship and career navigation. As you know, this podcast is all about highlighting incredible women out there doing awesome things. Just before I introduce you to our third guest, I'd like to say a massive thank you to our podcast sponsors, Dame, the brand on a mission to make our periods plastic free. Dame launched their first reusable tampon applicator to save the oceans from the 1.3 billion tampon applicators thrown away every year. Dame Reusable Applicator, the D, gives women a more sustainable choice, all the comfort of an applicator, but without the waste. We've tried it ourselves, and hand on heart, it's the kind of game-changing product that can make a big difference to the planet. You can visit Dame's website, wearedame.co, to find out more about their reusable applicator and organ tampon subscriptions. That's wearedame.co. So today's guest I'm really excited about is Carina Lepore. Notably known as the winner of last year's BBC The Apprentice, Carina of Dough Bakehouse is going from strength to strength in her career after securing the 250 grand investment from Lord Sugar. There have been a few particular seasons of The Apprentice over the past few years that have been firm favourites of mine, and I have to say that 2019 season with Carina is definitely one. Now, if you didn't get round to watching it, or you missed the last episode where Carina had to give a presentation in front of Lord Sugar and his advisors, or should I say pitch for an investment, it was nail-bitingly painful for me to watch when I saw Carina lose herself. And only because I can totally relate to how it feels in the boardroom as an entrepreneur myself. I was really rooting for her to win. I'm so excited to have Carina join us today because I just know that with her personality being so warm and humble, that once I hit record, we're going to go straight to the top for a chat that I know won't disappoint. Carina, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's only my second little Zoom meeting.
Is it? How are you getting on with it?
Yeah, all right. That's what last time I couldn't even get in. I didn't know what I was doing. That's why I was like, hopefully we'll be okay, but we're okay.
So any Be Your Own moments this past week?
I feel like I probably do every week. Like every week goes by and I'm like, even again today, I'm like, if I wasn't doing this with you, it would be, oh my God, how have we got to Saturday again? How have I got through? You know, I try and sort of on a Sunday, I try and reflect on the week, you know, what am I wanting to achieve in the next, going into the next week, and what have I achieved this week? So I try and sort of maintain that routine. I think it's really important, especially how we've all had to adapt with COVID and learn new routines and adapt. So I definitely think I have moments every day, every day.
So Carina, let's strip it all the way back, because I've been personally following your journey before you won BBC's The Apprentice. I know where you was, your journey, your background. However, some of our listeners won't be that familiar. So if you could just give us a little bit of an insight as to where you was and how you got to where you are today.
So prior to The Apprentice, I was sort of career woman. I was working for a big high street retailer. You know, that was that's always been what I've known. So from a young age, like retail was what I've known. From 15 years old, I started working in local little clothes shops, and I sort of quite quickly gained like a what's the word, like a sort of really keen interest in the business side of it, you know. So at 15 to 18, all I wanted to do was learn where did my boss sort of source his stock, how much did they take on a Saturday. I used to really want to know. I used to want to dress the mannequins. So I was really quickly, you know, learning that sort of trade, really. And then I suddenly learned where he did source his stock. So I went to the wholesalers myself and set up my own business at 18, copying him in a way, you know, learning from my peers who were around me and from him as a business owner. So I've always had that in me, that sort of entrepreneurial streak. I've wanted to run my own business. So I did that at a young age, at 18. I was a young age, I was 18, and I just sort of popped up this shop without much knowledge. You know, he didn't teach me much. It was more just me learning on the day-to-day job. So I just popped it up, Started doing the markets on a Sunday. I'd go out on my own with black bags, just on the tube trains and just start sort of selling my stock. And then from that, I think I was probably a bit young, a bit naive. Didn't have any business partners, didn't have any sort of investment. It was all just me and my young savings. It was a bit too soon, I think. So then I went into the retail world of Marks and Spencer's, and I spent my 10 years there working up the ranks, and I think I learned a lot. I said this on the show a lot in the boardroom. They obviously edited down the boardroom quite a lot, but I did say to Lord Sugar and Karen and Corn that a lot of jargon I would say, spinning the plates. I would say that a lot. What else did I used to say a lot? There was a lot of lingo that I learned from M&S that they did teach me how to, I suppose be professional, be that sort of way inclined, because otherwise I don't know where I would have been. But so I did learn a lot from them, but I always had that in my mind, like this isn't me in life, this is a chapter. I believe in that. People go through their chapters and everything's written and your story is your journey, your personal journey. But I knew deep down I wasn't gonna retire with an M&S sort of like badge. No, they gave me my 10-year badge actually, and on the same day I gave my resignation letter. So it's all quite 10 years. Oh, something hit me.
Ciao then.
I've got to go. Yeah. See ya. But so I'm quite like, I believe in all that. Everything's whatever will be. You sort of create your own journeys, and I don't know what's going to happen, but a greater force knows what's coming for me. That sort of thing. So that's what I was doing prior to The Apprentice. I was working my way up the ranks in M&S.
So what was the turning point then for you to jump onto The Apprentice?
That came from the story about my dad and his sort of what was going on in his life. So we've never had like, that we've never been like this, put it that way. But he's always been my rock, and he's I come from a big Italian background, so he's always been sort of a pusher, and nothing's ever been good enough. And I said this on the show in one of my interviews that I feel like probably my whole life, even now, I won The Apprentice, but I'm still striving to prove to him, there are bigger things, and I'm going to keep going. And what else can I do? I've always had that in me, and it's definitely something to do with him. So he was going through a really rough time was it 2018? Yeah, 2018. So then that was when I left and then joined. So The Apprentice was 2019. Fine. So 2018, the year before The Apprentice, he was going through some massive downs in life, and I've never seen this. I'm 30 years old, and I'd never seen losses like what he was going through, and depression and personal issues. And he's a strong figure. Like he would never miss a day of work. He was the the real male, strong man. And seeing him at his low, seeing him cry, his business burnt down. He had his own bakery and it burnt down. It was just so tough. So I thought that was literally my turning point. His was going through his rubbish. November, December, January was when I left M&S, and I sat him down. I remember saying, "We're going to get through this, and I really would like to take this opportunity to help you." So again, I reinvested what I had. It wasn't a lot, $5,000. And I sort of said, well, I'm going to start my own business, and I'd love for you to be my baker of the bakery. And it felt a bit strange, and I thought, is this going to work? Is he going to be able to work for me? But he took it as a lifeline, and it was strange for the role of a reversal in a way, like he's always sort of, not had to rely. But what am I trying to say? It was suddenly going to be, where he would rely on me for this lifeline, and I was willing to give it and wanted to, and we've been working together ever since. And it is crazy to think I see my dad every day. I would never see him every day. See him happier. The team are fantastic, and where we've gone, where he was at his low to now everyone's at their peak, winning The Apprentice. It couldn't have been written any better for us as a family, and that's what's so important, I think, for me. And the family element really shone through on the show, and I'm happy it came across that way, because they are so key to me and key to my business. So that was my turning point. It was definitely to do with him.
Having seen quite a few seasons of the show, it was very apparent that you did really need the investment from Lord and Sugar. I know that a lot of people go on that TV show and use it as a springboard for a great TV career. So since leaving the show, your career has catapulted massively into the limelight. But how are you managing your work-life balance right now? Because you have a son, right?
I think at first, so Yeah, I mean, there's definitely been challenges, and I've always been a working mum, so that wasn't going to be my challenge. My challenge was going to be, I'm now a working mum, but the work now doesn't stop. So I don't leave M&S and switch off. Like, I'm literally, the business is my second baby, really. So I have my son, my first priority, and I'll never ever put anything before him, and he literally has I've had to manage to juggle. I don't know how working mums manage it, but we juggle football, swimming, tutoring, and now with COVID being schooling. I was at the start, I said to my mum, I said to the teacher, how am I going to run my business through COVID and teach my son at school? And at the beginning, no one really knew what was going on. So I think my teacher even sort of sneakily said, no, I'll help you, we'll get through it together, sort of thing. And then it was literally like no contact with anyone, lockdown. I was like, this is going to be a tough time. But on the flip side, I spoke to someone yesterday, actually. Who was I talking to? Dave's Mirror or someone. I actually said, I've really enjoyed it, like lockdown. And I know that might seem weird, but I've really managed to put a positive spin on it, and the amount of time I'm spending with my son, I would never get it. I mean, when would the schools ever close? When am I ever going to get this time with him again? Day in, day out, building this routine together, all school time, reading time, art time, and then mummy work time or email time or whatever, but the routine is there, and it's been 8-9 weeks now, and we're both really enjoying it. He doesn't want to go back to school, and it's like, so we've managed to turn it into this positive experience. At first I thought it was going to be tough and challenging, and yes, you do sort of, there are the worries like how are we going to do this? But I think that's a sort of entrepreneur's lifestyle. You do have these worries, and you do find ways of getting through them, and you understand the hard work's not going to stop, and challenges are going to arise from every angle at you every day. Literally, before this, I got a call from the shop, and it's like, okay, I really want to focus on this right now. Someone else deal with that. It doesn't stop, but then that's what you learn. It's just how you deal with that.
Would you say you have like a strong support mechanism around you then? Because obviously you're much closer to your dad now, so that must help a lot. Yeah,
literally. I put this down as on one of your questions. I think it was, what's your biggest learning in business, or what gets you through, or something. And definitely having the support of a fantastic team, and family. So my sister is fantastic. She's sort of a business partner in the business, and also has moved in with me since lockdown. So she's been great. We've bounced off each other really well. Dad has not stopped baking. At the start, literally, it was like everyone in the world was in panic mode with bread and the basic toilet roll, the essentials of life. So because we're bread makers, it was like, I said to Lord Sugar, because he asked me, how's Dad? And I said, yeah, fine, but I don't want to run him into the ground, because the amount of production he was having to produce, because people were thinking bread was going to suddenly disappear. It was crazy. The first 2 weeks are insane, and everyone's calmed down now. But it was a bit like, what are we experiencing here? What sort of, this is a massive challenge, but yeah, it's quite exciting. I thrive with all this new excitement, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh yeah, this time is perfect for self-development.
Self-development, you've just hit the nail on the head, and you read about it a lot, and I know the world of social media literally captivates everyone right now, so everyone knows that self-care, self-love is a massive topic, self-development. Lots of people want to be their own boss, and I get that, and startups and entrepreneurs, and this is a perfect time. I would never have had this before. No one, people that, like, I think I was talking to one of my old, can't remember who, someone who's, lived through the war and stuff. They said, they were in this for 6-7 years. We've done 6-7 weeks. So when you see it like that, we've really got to take this time and use it wisely, and not come out of it and go back to sort of normal. Not that normal may ever happen, but let's say we did go back to normal, and then you reflect and think, now I can go to the shop, I can see my nan, but what could I have been doing, to support and do other stuff whilst I was in this lockdown? Definitely use it wisely for self-development. That is key, what you said.
Talking about development, congratulations on your new vegan range.
I feel like veganism is... Every day, I laugh about it now, but it's like I can predict what's going to happen. We'll run out of oat milk, because everyone wants oat milk flat whites. The vegan rolls sell out every day. I've literally predicted it happening, and it is happening. So it's good. It's a great range, and yeah, it's definitely growing. It's a market that will continue to grow, I think, and more people are jumping on it all the time. But we knew this was going to happen, so it'd be good to see what else, you know. I know the gluten-free world is definitely, my mum's been celiac all her life and, you know, doesn't do it just because of a lifestyle. It's definitely a health thing. But other people, even me, I'm going to try and do it as, you know, for my son's health benefits. There's so many things. And I know I run a bakery and it's a bit like, how can I run a bakery and be pushing these like the vegan and gluten-free life? But, you know, there's all about balance, isn't it? And healthy lifestyle, and yes, come in and get, you know, a fantastic freshly cooked sourdough. But, you know, just it's all about lifestyle and remaining healthy, and fresh produce is there. And I think that's another massive learning that people definitely in our local area have learned, that, you know, you see me, you've got the butcher next to me, then the greengrocer next to me. And so we're all three of us have said from the start we was going to remain open as essential businesses. And we've all been in it together, and seeing like the community really come together to support the local businesses has been fantastic. It's just, I feel like we're all really thriving, and it is a great experience.
Having a strong community around you really is key. Do you have any other mentors in your life that help influence your decision-making process, or is it just Lord Alan Sugar?
I don't have anyone else, and I feel like this would be a good time for me, because I said it again the other day that this is a great time for people to reach out and network. You know, everyone's on their phone, screen time's up. You know, it's a great time to sort of branch out into other avenues and make plans. And I may start doing it myself. Obviously, I've got the Sugar, so he's fantastic. If I need to WhatsApp him, he's there, and he's very there. I suppose he's active. He's actively, you know, it doesn't matter how late it is, he'll be there to respond. Sometimes I wake up, I'm like, God, he sent this at like 2 a.m. It's like, oh, it doesn't matter to sleep. So he's very much there, and I feel like he's a great mentor. You know, who else would I sort of need? But yeah, there's definitely room for me to learn from other people, and I use sort of Instagram as a great tool. You know, just to source what are other entrepreneurs working on. You know, what could I be working on? It is a great tool.
Oh, absolutely. Social media, particularly Instagram, heavily influences the way that we think, which is why I'm so particular about who I follow on social media, because if I've got to use social media as a tool for my business, I don't want to be following people that just don't really align with me as a person. Some of the people that I follow don't even very, very rarely post, or if they do, it's actually interesting stuff. I have no interest in people posting fake news or bullshit, which is why I don't sit scrolling all day on Instagram. It's not even about the monetary value of it, it's just pointless.
What do we use it for is different to the scrolling sort of typical, and that's what's important with social media, and how to not get wrapped up in scrolling and, you know, oh, I wish I looked like that. Why don't I look like that? I might get my teeth done like that. No. Like, focus on things that you want to get. Yeah. If that's what you want to get, then focus on it. But if it's not and it's going to affect your mood, then you don't need to follow that person. No.
There's just no real gains there at all. So we've touched on the fact that you have a really great community around you. So how are you navigating your team through COVID-19, and how are you still reaching your customers? Are you now doing deliveries? What's the deal now?
Yeah, so I remember again thinking, right, do I call a team meeting? But then it's the social distancing. And at the start, it was like, I literally remember speaking to my partner and Lord Sugar on that night. The first Boris announcements, this would have been back in March the 21st. It was a Monday night. And I remember ringing them both thinking, right, okay, advice, help, help me. Literally all I could see was essential businesses, and then there was a little list. And I remember speaking to the greengrocer, and we all agreed, right, we'll remain open. So that was the first thing, deciding that we would remain open. Okay. So then we went in. The first sort of things I put in place was that I didn't want the amount of team members that were on a shift. That wouldn't happen. We reverted straight to takeaway only. So the layout of the shop had to change. You know, the products we were producing had to change, because obviously there was so much high demand for bread that other products were just not, they just couldn't get made. So it was about, you know, being clever with what we could do to actually support what people needed. And at the time, it was just literally bread. So that's what we was doing, serving bread, serving coffee, and it was tough putting arrows on the floor, 2-meter distancing. It was very strange at first, and but the community and my team was so great with it, and we adapted so quickly, so well. I even think the public adapted really well to having to queue outside my shop. You would never queue outside my shop. It's just not. We're very sociable, and people come to us for the personality, for the buzz, and for a chat even, to have my local customers that I had to sort of move along in an effective way, because we don't have that time to chat anymore because there's a queue outside the door. Like we have to keep this moving. But everyone was really great, really receptive with it, and we've come through it. Obviously, there was other measures we had to put in place with regards to health and safety for my team and for my bakers. There could only be one of them at a time, and all that sort of distancing measures we put in place. I made sure that none of my team were coming in via public transport, so I would pay for them to get like sort of private cabs in. I didn't want them on the train. So I feel like I've done everything as a leader that I could do for them. They're very happy in their working environment, and that then makes me feel happy that I've done the right thing for my team. That was my main thing, and they know they can come to me. If anyone didn't feel safe at work, they could come to me. But everyone agrees, we're in a great position, and the public had been great. So I feel like we adapted really well, and that was key for me. And Lord Sugar was great with it all. Anything I wanted to do, he was in agreement with the support, and any government news things that popped out, I was getting them straight away via email. So we wholesale to a lot of pubs and restaurants, and to see them have to close their doors, I knew it was going to be tough for some other businesses that couldn't remain open. But it's about that support, and what can we do? I speak to some of them are young business owners like me, and we've been talking throughout. He's making other plans for other ways of working going forward, and that's what we have to do now. Whether it's to jump on Uber Eats, like he's thinking of doing, Deliveroo, serving from the door. It's a new way of working, but we're all in it together. So I'm happy to support them, and they're happy to hear from me. So it's a whole new world. Crazy.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, because I feel like I could chat to you all day, what has been the most important business lesson for you that you've learned so far?
I've said a lot about my team, but I feel like my most valuable lesson would be don't sleep on it. So I've always been a sort of grafter and hustler, and I feel like it's very important not to switch off and get complacent and get too comfortable. And I feel like that is probably from my childhood, and the sort of pushing for success inside of me. But it's very important, it depends what you want out of life. But if you want to be successful and maintain that balance of a great working career versus having a happy family, and I feel like I've managed to find that balance. But there is challenges within that, and finding the balance is one of the main challenges, actually. And use your people, good people around you, I suppose, and that could come from the team at work, from my sister, whoever you've got that's a great source, use them. Because at first I was very much, and this is where me and my sister have always struggled, because I wouldn't reach out to her because she would always come to me. I was like the shoulders, had Dad on this side, Rachel on this side, that's my sister, and I was like holding them up in life, I feel like. And now I found a place where I need to reach out. I can't always be this strong force, and I have my own challenges, and I've managed to now, at 31 years old, find a place where I can ask for their help, and it feels good. And finding a balance is definitely key, and reaching out and getting that support and having a great team. So find your team and keep them, treat them well so they stay.
How old is your sister? Is she younger than you?
She's younger than me, but not by much. So she's 3 years younger. So she'll be 28.
Carina, thank you so much for today. Chatting to you has just been such a breath of fresh air, and it's really nice to meet another entrepreneur who's out there on a mission to succeed. And you're so humble and kind as well. That's what
The Apprentice taught me, and from coming out of it and hearing all this fantastic feedback from people that visited my shop just to see me, they were like, you're going to make my coffee. It's like they couldn't believe. I was like, this is my day-to-day life. I will never feel like I would never tell my team member, oh, make me this, and I would never do it myself. I've always learned that, there's never anything that I would tell someone to do that I'm not happy to do myself. So yeah, it is great, and it's great to hear that, because I think that's what it's all about. You know, being humble and remaining humble and true to yourself. I think that's definitely key.
Oh, where can we find more of you? Where's your social media handles at?
So you can find me on Instagram, Carina Lepore _ at the end. What else do I have? Twitter, Carina Lepore.
Yep.
That's me.
Oh, I don't want this to end, Carina, but it really has to. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I loved it. We'll do some more chats in the future.
How brilliant is Carina? So down to earth, so humble and so real. Thank you, Carina, for joining us on the Be Your Own podcast. And that's it from me this week. But before I go, a huge thank you to our podcast sponsors, Dame. For more information, you can check them out online at wearedame.co. Thank you so much for listening. Please let us know what you think of the show. Don't forget you can find us on both Instagram and Twitter at BEYOUROWNUK. Our email address is beyourown@beyourown.org, so make use of it and drop us an email with anything that you want to know. If you fancy reading pretty much all of the career navigation stuff we talk about here on the podcast, then head over to beyourown.org for exclusive content, interviews, tools and resources. And lastly, if you love the show, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast, either on Stitcher, iTunes or Spotify. And that's it from me. See you next time.